David, you're 37 years of age now.
Thanks for reminding me.
What do you think is more harmful to you at this stage of your career, coming back from an injury that you sustained or just the layoff?
I think the two different things. The layoff can affect your timing, it can affect your rhythm if you haven't had adequate sparring. Injuries are always injuries. Unfortunately, I've never had the same injury twice, so I've never really had an impact in a fight resulting from a prior injury that had healed. So I think it's a mixture of both, to be honest. A mixture of both. The layoff, I'm not too bothered about the layoff, to be honest. You know, as long as my timing's good in sparring, it normally is when I'm fighting. So yeah, injuries can pop out of nowhere. I've experienced that before. So yeah, probably a little bit more worried about something on my head falling off in the third round or something popping and snapping. That's more of a worry than my timing as I've been out of the ring technically for 14 months come fight night.
Historically, you're somebody who has relied a lot on athleticism.
Yeah.
On the flip side, do you think people have underrated your boxing skills? You're obviously a very successful amateur. Is that going to be more what you're going to be looking to utilise coming back?
My boxing skills were very heavily entwined with my athleticism. So I've developed a boxing style which relied heavily on my athleticism. You know, my jab, a regular guy couldn't throw a jab like me because he's not powerful enough or explosive enough or fast enough to land it. So the punches that I've thrown in the past, technically, weren't that great, but because I had such a athleticism, I was able to get away with it. It kind of reminded me, kind of like a bit like Roy Jones Jr. You know, he technically, he didn't do things as the textbook would suggest, but he was so athletically gifted and so fast that he could land a shot. You know, anyone else trying to fight like that would just come unstuck pretty quick. But once his reflexes did slow down, he started losing to people he had no business losing to, because his style was so heavily connected to his physicality. So knowing that myself, knowing that I'm getting older, I've had to maybe adapt my style to not implement so much of my athleticism and punches, and actually work on my technique, my rotation, my head movement, my balance, my foot positioning. So I've tried my very best to sort of reinvent my style, to improve my style, and if I can, and whilst doing so, if I can keep my athleticism, which is the only thing that's really going to go, your speed, timing, those things maybe start diminishing if you don't get it right in training. You could come unstuck, but with the training team I have and the new technical side that I've brought to the table, I think it's going to make me a better fighter all round. So talk is cheap. I gave it all a big talk for the first one, I flopped. So let's just hope I don't flop this time.
Just final one from me, David. It seemed to me in the immediate aftermath of the first fight with Tony Bellew, everybody seemed to dance around the fact that you were clearly injured, including yourself. Now, was the experience that you had with Vladimir Klitschko and the subsequent backlash from that, did that play a factor in you kind of ignoring the fact in the post-fight that you were clearly injured?
Well, what happened in the post-fight with Klitschko was, what's it like? I didn't accept what happened. I got beat, and looking back, I should just say I got beat, plain and simple. Every fighter has injuries, every fighter has an injury in training camp, everyone's masking something. I very rarely ever met a fighter that's been in the ring and has not have some type of injury. So people don't want to hear that. People aren't interested if you've got an injury, even if you do have a legitimate injury. So you've got to realise that what caused the injury, every fighter has injuries. So after Tony Bellew fight, okay, the better man won. It's like, okay, there may have been injuries, but how do I know he didn't have an injury twice as bad? You don't know. So keep it real, say it how it is, and better man won. And next time round, hopefully, if training goes as I anticipate, if I'm as good as I claim I am, we should be having a very, very different conversation.
Were you injured going into the fight?
Which fight?
The first
fight. All fighters are injured going into all fight. That's my point. Everybody's injured. Every fighter gets. I've never gone into a fight without some type of injury, without some sort of muscle strain or ache or pain. There's always something. Tony Bellew said he broke his hand in the fight. It's just one of those. It's just talk. Did he? Didn't he? Did I? Didn't I? Who knows? Who cares? The fact is, he beat me. And that's it.
Hi fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else